On a 1950s Sunday dessert table, somewhere between the fresh food and the afternoon coffee, there was often something so light and elegant it almost didn't seem real. Angel pie, with its delicate meringue shell, soft marshmallow-like center, and a crown of whipped cream and berries. It looked like the sort of dessert made only for special occasions. But that's exactly what makes it so irresistible, because once we see how easily it comes together, it almost feels unfair that something this elegant can be this simple.
Welcome to Apaulos Diner.
Hello my friends and fellow Apolonians, welcome back to Apaulo Diner. I'm your host Apollo Jupiter, and today we're bringing back the good old angel pie, one of those charming vintage desserts that once appeared on many 1940s and 50s American dessert tables when the weather turned warm and berries were in season. In many ways, it was exactly the kind of dessert the mid-century table loved. Charming, make-ahead friendly, and just specially enough to make an ordinary afternoon feel like an occasion. Let's get started! First, let's make our lovely meringue shell. Alright, first things first, we start by preheating our oven to 120 degrees Celsius or 250 degrees Fahrenheit. Low and slow is the word for a successful meringue shell. Then we line a baking tray with a sheet of parchment paper. And if we want a little guidance, we can draw a 9-inch or 23 centimeter circle onto the paper first. That's optional, of course. You can absolutely freehand it as well. Angel pie may be elegant, but it's not standing there with a clipboard inspecting our geometry. Now here comes one little trick of the past that is well worth doing. Lightly butter the parchment paper and dust it with just a bit of powdered sugar. It's a small step, but it helps prevent sticking later on. And with a delicate dessert like this, that is a kindness we may be very glad we showed ourselves. The first time I actually forgot that step and ripped my poor meringue shell apart. So yes, definitely recommend it. Next up, we grab a clean mixing bowl and in go 4 large egg whites, a pinch of salt, and a 1/4 teaspoon or 1 gram of cream of tartar. Then we begin beating until soft peaks form. The old school way would be doing this all by hand, but let's make life a little quicker and easier and bring in the good old hand mixer. Once that's done, we gradually add 1 cup or 190 grams of sifted powdered sugar while continuing to beat. Don't rush this part, or your meringue may decide to take revenge by falling apart later on. The mixture should become thick, glossy, and nice and stiff. The sort of meringue that looks like it has absolutely no intention of collapsing under pressure. A rare quality and one to be admired. Then in goes 8 grams or 2 teaspoons of vanilla sugar. You could also use a teaspoon of vanilla extract, but vanilla sugar keeps the shell paler, which suits angel pie rather nicely. It keeps that soft, almost cloud-like look, and that feels very much in the spirit of the thing. It's named after an angel after all. Then we mix it just a little longer so the vanilla sugar is evenly worked in. Now the great moment has come. We spread our meringue onto the baking sheet. Staying within our circle if we made one, and gently shape it into a shell. That means leaving a hollow in the middle and building the edges up slightly around the sides. It does not have to be perfectly smooth. In fact, a few swirls and soft curves only make it prettier. This is not one of those desserts that needs to look factory made. Quite the opposite actually. Angel pie should look light, graceful, and just a little dreamy. Like a cloud that decided to become edible. And if a piping bag happens to be nearby, we can also use that to shape the walls. That often makes things a little easier. In any case, make sure to smooth out and close any gaps. Alright, our shell already looks promising. Now it's time for the oven. We place it into the preheated oven and bake it for about 90 minutes at 250 degrees Fahrenheit or 120 degrees Celsius. As I said earlier, this is not a dessert that likes to be rushed. Angel pie prefers a slow and gentle approach, and frankly, who can blame it? In it goes on its little baking journey. And while our shell is quietly behaving itself in the oven, here's a little history note. Angel pie may feel right at home in the 1950s, but it was already around before that. The name had appeared in print by the 1920s, and by the 1940s, American newspapers and cookbooks were already sharing their own versions. Some lemony, some creamy, some crowned with fruit. All of them built around that lovely meringue shell. Then by 1950, angel pie had made it into Betty Crocker's picture cookbook, which is usually a very good sign that a dessert has settled comfortably into the American home kitchen. So by the time it reached those neat little mid-century dessert tables, it was not some passing novelty anymore. It was already a proven favorite. Once our timer rings, we turn the oven off and do not take the shell out just yet. Instead, we open the door slightly and let the shell cool inside for at least 1 hour, ideally even up to 3. That slow cooling helps the outside stay crisp while the inside keeps that soft marshmallow-like texture we want. And during that time, try not to poke it, prod it, or keep opening the oven every 5 minutes like a worried relative in a hospital waiting room. Meringue likes a calm environment. Too much drama, and it may start acting like it, and then we may end up with a soggy shell. What we are looking for in the end is a shell that feels dry and crisp on the outside, but still has a little softness inside. That contrast is part of what makes angel pie so lovely. It's not meant to be hard all the way through like a forgotten roof tile. It should still have a tender heart. Once the moment has finally come and the shell has cooled completely, we can move on to the filling. It's time for the soft and creamy part of the story. Into a mixing bowl goes 1 cup or 240 milliliters of heavy whipping cream, along with 2 tablespoons or 15 grams of powdered sugar and half a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Or if you want to stay in that same pale and gentle lane as before, we can also use 1 teaspoon of vanilla sugar instead. Then we whip the mixture until soft peaks form. Not stiff and overbeaten, just soft, smooth and billowy. We want it to hold its shape nicely, but still look like something that belongs on an angel pie and not on a construction site. If you like, you could also add a little bit of cream stiffener if you think your guests might eat very slowly, which I can hardly imagine when they are being served something that delicious. So once our cream is ready, we spoon it gently into our cooled shell and spread it out across the center. And already at this point it starts looking like the sort of dessert that would have made people in the 1950s quietly nod with approval over their coffee cups. Now all that is left is a little crowning glory. For the classic finish, we top our angel pie with fresh sliced strawberries, raspberries, banana slices, or even a little toasted coconut if we like. We can use just one or combine them. Personally, I love raspberries. They're easy to arrange nicely and the combination is absolutely delicious. A very classic vintage combination would be strawberries and banana, but pineapple with toasted coconut or even cherries with almonds were also right at home on a mid-century table. And this is really where angel pie gets to dress for the occasion. The shell is delicate, the cream is soft, and the fruit on top makes the whole cloud look cheerful, fresh, and just a little bit proud of itself. As well it should. And once the topping is in place, our angel pie is ready to serve. This is one of those desserts that is happiest when served fairly soon after filling, while the shell still has that lovely contrast between crisp and soft. We cut into it gently, admire the layers for one brief noble moment, and then enjoy. It's heaven. The outside has that delicate little crispness, the inside is soft and marshmallow-like. The whipped cream keeps everything light and the fruit brings exactly the freshness it needs. It's the sort of dessert that makes one understand very quickly why the 50s were so fond of it. And really, once you've had a bite, it becomes very clear why this charming old dessert deserves a place on our tables again. And just like that, we've brought back another sweet and elegant little classic from the mid-century table. If you enjoyed this recipe, please leave a like and subscribe for more vintage recipes, retro charm and old-fashioned kitchen fun right here at Apaulo Diner. And until next time, my friends and fellow Apolonians, may your meringues behave themselves, your berries be sweet and your kitchen always be filled with a little old-fashioned magic. Have a wonderful day and I'll see you in the next video.